Hi everyone, EG here. So today's topic is why I started a YouTube channel at age 67. And especially since it took me 1 year and 11 months to get monetized, which means I was making no money on this channel for almost 2 years when I first started it. So let's go back to kind of background of all this. I actually have been watching YouTube probably almost since it began. I know back probably before 2010. And I've always loved YouTube. I just love it as a medium. I always thought to myself, darn, I wish this had come out when I was younger. Because if I had been in my 30s or around 40 and at the dawn of YouTube, oh man, I would have jumped on that so fast. So I always in the back of my mind wanted to have a channel. There were various things I thought I could probably do on a channel, but it just never came to fruition for many years because I was still working and I was busy and I just had other things, you know. I knew I didn't really have the time to devote to it. So in 2017, when I retired and I went on the road for a year living out of a van, that was the first real serious thought I gave to having a YouTube channel. And boy, I wish I had started it back then. I probably would have made a lot more money at this and been doing well, because the kind of really best years I think for being in YouTube were probably between about 2016, 17 and like 2022. I think to me that was kind of where a lot of channels blew up and there wasn't as much competition online and that sort of thing. But I just didn't feel ready, you know, and they always say start before you're ready, and I agree, but I really was not ready. I had no idea how I was going to do a channel, and especially a travel channel or a van life channel, because it would have required a lot more editing skills and filming skills than I really felt like I could even, you know, do. Now looking back on it, should I have just jumped at it? Yeah, probably. But I didn't feel ready, so I didn't do it. And then when the pandemic happened in 2020, there was another big surge on YouTube. And I thought, you know, we were all kind of stuck at home, wasn't doing as much. I thought this would be a great time to do a channel. But I just didn't feel ready again. I knew that I was going to have some sort of knowledge base of some kind before I started. And so fast forward to June of 2022, when I finally did launch this channel, Elder Gal. And a lot of things led up to it. And I had someone ask me here just recently about what kinds of things did I need to know before I started a channel? And that's a really good question. The things that I needed to know to even start was I needed to know at least how to basically film on like an iPhone, for instance, because I'm still filming on an iPhone. How to film on an iPhone, how to transfer that and work on editing software, which basically I just use iMovie from Apple, which is a really easy, user-friendly program. So I had to decide on an editing program. I had to learn how to do thumbnails. I had to learn how to do, you know, all the things that you have to put into a video. So you write a video description of some kind. You have to put something in the description. You have to know how to upload it to YouTube. So there's things you do have to know, but you learn those very quickly. I would say probably within the first, you know, within a couple of weeks after studying some of that before I launched my first video, I pretty much understood the very basics, and most of the rest of it I picked up as I went along. So I don't think you need a huge knowledge base to start, but you do have to know, you know, how to film a video, how to upload it, or how to edit it, how to upload it, how to do those basics before you start. The rest of it, there's still stuff I don't know how to do, and I know I need to know how to do it, and I have kept putting off, you know, kind of upping my editing game and filming game, and I know I need to do those things. But as this channel primarily is a podcast type of channel now, I really probably won't do those things in the near future. So let's get back to my motivation. Why did I really want to start a YouTube channel, even though I was in my late 60s? And of course now I'm 70 as I'm filming this. Well, one big reason, well, let me say this. I think that the reason a lot of people start a YouTube channel, and I don't mean just older people, I mean anybody. The reason I think a lot of people start a YouTube channel is because there's that temptation of like, I could make extra money, or I could get rich on this, or you know, whatever that is, but financially it's a big one. And I think that's kind of a double-edged sword, because as I mentioned in the first part of this video, I didn't get monetized for a year and 11 months. I made nothing on this. And I was still putting out a video once a week, no matter what. I don't think I missed a week during that whole time. And so without making any money, you really have to have a sense of persistence and perseverance to get through that, a dedication to this. And I think a lot of people would have fallen by the wayside before a year and 11 months. I think most people want to get monetized as fast as possible. I think even when I started, I thought I was being conservative in this. And I thought, oh, it'll probably take me a year to get monetized. Well, yeah. Well, it took almost double that. So, and yet I've known people that get monetized on their first video. So it just depends. It's really just luck. It's the luck. It's what the algorithm chooses to pick up and push out there. And people can say all day long, oh, it's skill. You know, you have to, if you do good thumbnails and you have good audience retention or watch time, that, you know, you'll get it. You have tons of videos that are in the green, as they say. They get the green check mark, a click-through rate, watch time. I've had tons of videos that have green for both of those things, which means technically they should be being pushed out by YouTube, and they don't. I still get the same amount of views I do on any other video. So I'm not a big believer that that's the answer to, you know, all of a sudden getting monetized and being successful on YouTube. It certainly is part of it, but it's not the whole answer. A lot of it is just dumb luck. But let's go back to my motivations. So financial was certainly part of it for me, but I'm glad it wasn't the major thing for me, because if it had been, I might have given up a lot sooner. Of course, I wanted extra income. I was living just on Social Security. I was living in poverty. I was living in subsidized housing. I was getting Medicaid. And of course, all those things are gone now because I made extra income. And it was really a trade-off. I'm really not that much better in some ways than I was then, because I have to pay for a lot more. But the good thing is that I'm at least in control of knowing, you know, that I'm making this extra income. In other words, I have some control over how much income I make, rather than just continuing to live on a set amount, you know, on a fixed income, as they say. So for me, it was tough losing those things, but in some ways it was better overall at this point in time. I hope I never have to go back to being on that. It could always happen. I don't know. But for now, I'm happy that I'm not receiving any of those benefits. But the bigger reason why I started a YouTube channel was really because I wanted a sense of purpose in my retirement. I wanted a sense of purpose as I grew older. I wanted something that I could pour my creativity into, my interests into, and that I could reach people in some way. You know, one of the things, my favorite job that I ever had was teaching at a community college for 13 years. I loved it. I loved teaching. I loved being able to interact with students. I liked, you know, answering questions. I liked that whole dynamic. And teaching in front of a classroom for 13 years is what's made it easier to even talk on camera, because it's the same phenomenon to me. I'm talking to the camera just like it's my classroom. I'm pretending you guys are all out there watching this and you're listening, just like the classroom would be. That's just how it is. So it's easy for me to do this, partly because of that experience in teaching in front of a classroom. But back to the motivation. So I wanted to have a sense of purpose. I wanted to reach people. I wanted to connect with people. I wanted to be able to share my experiences in life, to share what I've learned, to share the good and the bad and the ugly, because I've always been a very honest person, and I really, and I just wanted connection in a different way with people rather than just like one-on-one. And so to me, there were so many facets to this, why this was so important to me to do later in life. I mean, my whole thing has been to say, I will do this as long as I can. As long as I'm mentally able to do it, and as long as I'm physically able to do it, I will have a YouTube channel. There's a woman that's Sandra. Her name is Sandra and Me, or I don't remember exactly what her channel is called, but she's in her 80s and has a YouTube channel. Good for her. She's great. And so for me, as long as I'm able to do this, whether it's another 5 years or another 10 years or beyond, I will do this as long as I can. Because to me, this isn't about, it's not something I want to retire from. It's something that's a real commitment for me to make me feel still useful in the world and still have this sense of purpose. So for me, that was the biggest motivation. And honestly, I'm so grateful I have that, because again, if I had just been motivated by wanting extra income, I don't think I would have stuck with it this long. The reason I stuck with it is the sense of purpose was more important than just the money. Just having this channel means something. And I never dreamed that it would be even the size it is now, which is relatively still smaller. But I never dreamed that I'd really be able to make a part-time income off it. I was not foolish enough, even in the very beginning, to think that, oh, I'm going to get rich off YouTube. I'm going to be a millionaire. Very, very few people can do that. That is a tiny percentage, like whatever, 1/100th of 1% that actually make a fortune on doing YouTube. It's not that many people. And it's pretty, again, that's one of those things that's a combination of talent and luck to get there. But that was not the dream. I didn't think that was really possible. I tried to be really realistic in my estimations of what I could make on YouTube. And so for me, I was always very realistic. I thought, even if it's just a part-time income, that's fine. And right now, that's what it is. It's a part-time income. It's like, to me, having a part-time job. And but it's given me more than I thought it would. So, and hopefully it will grow, because if it does, then I can fulfill some more of my goals and dreams that I would like to fulfill before it's my time to go. So that's really basically why I started a channel. I would say the thing that I think is most important when you're starting out in YouTube, or anything really for that matter, is to have that sense of purpose and dedication and persistence. Persistence above all other things. Because if you're not dedicated and persistent to what you're doing, you're not going to get there. Because it can take channels more time than it even took me to get monetized. It can certainly take more time to become really successful on YouTube. I mean, right now, my channel has been kind of in the, plateaued for the last few months. I've gained subscribers, I've lost some subscribers. It really hasn't grown. And it's been frustrating, because it doesn't seem to matter what content I put out. I thought when I went to Europe that I actually would probably grow as a result of that. It didn't, interestingly. And so now that I'm back in the US, I don't even hazard a guess as to which way it's going to go. I mean, I'm hoping it will grow. But, that may take another 6 months. It could take a year, and then all of a sudden I'll go through another growth spurt. You never know when the growth spurts are going to be. And usually with most channels that are under 100,000 subscribers, that have, more than a few thousand subscribers, but between that and 100,000, they go through spurts of growth. They might gain 30,000 subscribers in a month. And then they might not gain another, more than 5,000 subscribers over the next year. It just is very random. And that's the other thing you have to have when you have a YouTube channel, is to not take all of this so personally. When you have a channel, a lot of how your channel is doing doesn't have to do with you. I know that sounds weird, but it just doesn't. A lot of it is luck. Once you put that on YouTube, that video, you have no idea. Is that the video that's going to take off? Is it not? Usually it's not. But occasionally a video will surprise you and do twice as good or 10 times as good as you thought it would. So the thing is that you just have to be realistic, I think, in your expectations, and you have to be dedicated. You have to be persistent. During the times when not much is happening, even once you're monetized, you just have to be patient with it. And that I've learned. I've learned that pretty well. So for me, like I said, you know, my biggest mantra that I said the whole time during this process was quitting is not an option. The whole time that it took me a year and 11 months to not be monetized, I said that every week. I go, quitting is not an option. And it just wasn't. And it's not now. It's just not an option. Even if my channel never grows a whole lot more than it is, okay, quitting is still not an option. I've still got dedicated viewers that watch the channel. I've still got people. I love doing live streams, and I love, you know, being able to chat with them on the live stream and interact, because that's important to me. That's part of the big reason I started the channel. So even if it's not ever making me a lot more money or a fortune or whatever, that's fine. Sure, would I like more than I have? Yeah, everybody would. Everybody would like to make more than they're probably getting already on YouTube. But the thing is, I love this process. I love doing this. I love the platform. I love being able to be creative. Like I said, if I could have done this when I was 20, 30, 40 years old, oh my gosh, I would have been in heaven. I just would have been in heaven. I just would have had a wonderful time with it. And I'm still having a wonderful time with it. It's just that now, you know, a lot of people will say, well, you know, YouTube won't be around forever. Well, okay, I won't be around forever either. So hopefully those things will coincide in some way. So anyway, if you have any questions, or you're thinking about starting a channel and you have any questions, put them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. I will tell you this, it's not easy. This has to be a labor of love. This has to be a labor of love. You have to love doing this, because if you don't love the process, you won't stick with it. And I do love the process. I love every parts of it. I love filming this. I love editing. I love just almost everything about it. I like doing live streams. So you have to love the process. You have to love what this is. And if you don't, again, you won't be long for it, because it's a lot of work. I have people that say something to me like, oh, well, you should get a part-time job. This is my part-time job. I have a job. Believe me, I work at this every single day. On most weeks, I'm putting out right now 2 videos a week here, 2 live streams a week, and then a video on my other channel, the Elder Gal Spirit channel. That's a lot. That's a lot of work. So yeah, this is my job. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful to you in some way. Until next time, be kind. Keep moving forward. Take care. Bye.